Our top story, though, is the passing of Joan Rivers. Can her voice really be gone?
I am now 81 years old. I could die any second. No. Don't applaud. Like that. I could go like that. Do you understand how lucky you would be? Do you understand you would have something to talk about for the rest of your life? You were invited all. You were there? You were there?
Also know that you have some shock value to you. I mean, on the cover of your book, you're wearing a fur, and you knew that there would probably be animal rights activists.
You know, this whole interview is becoming a defensive interview.
No!
Are you wearing leather shoes?
Yeah,
shut up.
I'm talking.
You know what I mean? I don't want to hear. You're wearing fur. You're wearing leather shoes.
I'm not an activist, but I'm saying
you're eating chicken.
Yeah.
You're eating meat. I don't want to hear this nonsense. Come to me with a paper belt, and I'll talk to you.
But you did hear it in some of those press conferences. There were people who were upset, and you're just saying,
no, I'm going. I really am going, because all you have done is negative.
No.
All you have done is negative. I haven't heard negative. I make people laugh for 50 years. I am put on earth to make people laugh. My book is funny. I wear fur that was killed 15 years ago. I work for animal rights. Stop it with, and you do this, and you're mean, and you're that. You are not the one to interview a person who does humor. Sorry.
Are we serious?
All right, peace, y'all. Peace. So in this video, I'm going to be talking about the late Joan Rivers. Now, some of y'all may be too young or may not know who Joan Rivers is, but she was basically the pioneer of the controversial journalism. All right, people like Star and Buck Wild, Wendy Williams, Charlemagne the God, all of these individuals have actually taken Joan Rivers' style and ran with it. All right, but I found something very interesting in her story towards the end of her career that I wanted to point out. All right, so I'm gonna break down a few things that I found to be a little bit interesting here and throughout her career as well. All right, so Joan Rivers was born June 8th, 1933. All right, in Brooklyn, New York. All right, she grew up with two Jewish parents, all right, who raised her pretty much in the entertainment industry, all right. At this time, when she was young, she attended Adelphi Academy, which is also in Brooklyn, and there she was the vice president of the Dramatic Club. Okay, so she was always involved in the theatrical scene as far as with being in entertainment and things of that nature, so her parents kind of groomed her, for showbiz in a sense. All right. After she left high school, she then attended Barnard College, all right, where in this point in time, I believe she was kind of introduced into the industry, all right. Well, she met here during this time. She was good friends with Barbra Streisand, okay, and they attended college together, and also joined a fraternity, the fraternity by the name of Summa Cum Laude, all right, and she was also a part of a fraternity, Phi Beta Kappa as well, all right. So she's had her hands in fraternities and organizations since college came along, all right. During this time, she was also involved in a Broadway play where her first actual scene was to partake in a lesbian scene with Barbra Streisand. Okay, so some would say that at this very point in time, this was her ritual to enter in the industry, all right? After this kind of took place, her career kind of like started to take off at this point. She started to do stand-up comedy at the age of 26, okay? And she was around the likes of Richard Pryor, Woody Allen, and so forth and so on, and met a lot of entertainers around this time, okay? So she pretty much, like I said, was groomed for show business. All right, she was very much so groomed to be a part of this industry. All right, it wasn't until 1965 where she got her first shot. Okay, on the Tonight Show with Johnny Carson. All right, now Johnny Carson was actually also a mentor of hers as well. He kind of like showed her the ropes, you know, and how to gravitate attention from the audience. All right, so she picked up on a lot of things. Her and Johnny Carson were really good friends around the early stages of her career. All right, in this same year, 1965, is when she married her first husband, Edgar Rosenberg. Okay, they were married for a while, pretty much almost 20 years. All right, and they had a child together, which is Melissa Rivers. Okay, so that is their child together. All right. So now, fast forward, as she's in showbiz and doing what she likes to do best, you know, entertaining people. All right, they decided to give her her own show. All right, and this is when Joan Rivers was actually introduced to have her own late night talk show. All right, shortly after she received the accolades of getting her own show, mysteriously her husband committed suicide. All right, now some people would say at this very point in time is when she started to level up. Okay, a lot of things started to go into place for Joan Rivers at this time after the death of her husband. So now, after the death of her husband, all right, she's now doing her own TV shows. Okay, she gets a jewelry line through QVC. All right, they're giving her sponsorships, all of these things. Doors started to open up for Joan Rivers around this time. All right, after 1987, okay, is when she started to get popular. Okay, she became a household name after this situation had took place. All right, now, what I wanted to point out is this, actually. This is kind of interesting to me, is how she actually introduced Michael Jackson to her plastic surgeon. All right, now, I didn't know that Joan Rivers was actually the first celebrity to go through with getting plastic surgery. All right, she actually introduced Michael Jackson to her plastic surgeon, Steve Hoeflin. All right, now after this, in the early 90s, Joan Rivers started to become very outspoken. All right, she was constantly in the news for something outlandish, she would say, okay, to get people talking. All right, that was her whole ordeal, was to just get people to talk, all right, about her, all right, keeping her name in the tabloids. So with her doing this, she kind of like broke the rules of the media, okay, and saying certain quotes that I will not repeat because it's just out of control, some of the things this woman has said. But it wasn't until towards the end of her career, all right, which I truly believe the people in higher positions took her out of here, all right. Now, here comes the controversy. Fast forward to 2014, okay, where she made a statement, okay, clarifying that the president, Obama, was gay, and that Michelle Obama was actually a trans, okay, where she mentioned, we already have it with Obama, so let's just calm down, she said. You know Michelle Obama is a trans, okay? Now, in response to this, Barack Obama had written a letter to her daughter, okay, Melissa Rivers, after she passed away, where he said, what she mentioned here, I received a letter from the White House from President Obama, someone who was often a target of her jokes, as was Mrs. Obama. But I received a handwritten note saying, not only did she make us laugh, she made us think. Now, after Joan Rivers had made this statement about Michelle Obama, she had went through an issue in the airport where the federal government would not let her board the plane.
Joan, don't you feel ashamed of yourself that you're calling a poor woman that's just doing her job the way the federal guidelines are set up and calling her a moron? I mean,
no,
she's
I
doing
don't,
a
my
service to
darling.
all the people on the plane.
Just hold it, mister. I was given a boarding pass with the wrong name on it. I went through 5 different security passes, and then a woman at the gate who will not look at my passport, who will not call Continental, who will not call for help, who will not recheck into their records, says to me, "You cannot go on." No, she is a moron.
Okay, so as you can see there, in that very same clip, CNN took it upon themselves to edit out what she actually said. Okay, but in that very same clip, she made this statement clear here. Now, this wasn't a thing of concern until she had mentioned it publicly. With this transpiring, they had to get Miss Joan Rivers up out of here, if you know what I'm saying. All right, now I want to talk about the way that she died, okay, which is a form of a ritual. On August 28th, 2014, Joan Rivers experienced serious complications and stopped breathing while undergoing what was scheduled to be a minor throat procedure at an outpatient clinic in Yorkville, Manhattan. Okay, so now with her undergoing this surgery and her losing a force of life after making this statement, okay, the very same year, not even a month or two later, she was dead. Okay, now a lot of people understand that Michelle Obama may or was possibly born a man. All right, as you can see in this clip here, Barack Obama slips up and mentions this.
Walking and holding hands.
I walk with my husband Michael and hold hands. It's like a whole new world for me. Just walking and holding hands.
All right, so with possibilities that Joan Rivers had actually ousted or broke the oath, okay, the code of silence, that secrecy that they're supposed to keep, being involved in a fraternity at such a young age, and then to be a part of the same groups, okay, and same organizations and fraternities as Barack Obama, okay, and kind of like, you know, you went against the grain there, all right? So the only way that they could silence her was to take her out during her procedure, all right? Now, if you guys notice, anytime there is a celebrity that either chokes or has a throat accident or something like that, or just mysteriously dies, okay, it's because they were outspoken. These are all rituals, okay? These are all rituals, all right? So it's not a doubt in my mind that I think that the higher-ups or the elite actually took this woman, Joan Rivers, out, okay, to not let her say anything else that may backfire on them, all right? Because you got to understand, when people get up there in age and they start to say anything, okay, you slipped up once, we can't afford you to make any more mistakes, all right? Like I said, Joan Rivers was very outspoken, and she would say some very outlandish things, all right? So, yeah, it's just we have to pay very close attention to what's going on out here, man, and stay focused, you know, and like I always tell you guys, if you want to be in the business, you know, you're going to have to play the game, all right? So I hope everybody has a blessed week. I'm going to drop another video for you guys this week on Patreon. And stay safe out there. Peace.